Bam.
Find out in the next hour or so. He's going to go through his process, see how he feels, and then Jay and I will talk.
Coach, over the month, Goran has been fantastic offensively, obviously both scoring late and scoring throughout the game, and I think just behind Bam in assists. You talk all the time about his steadying force, but anything particular this month that's kind of surging for him?
Well, I think he's just getting into mid-season, late-season form. He's an all-star player, and he's getting more comfortable as the season goes on, and he's healthy right now, and he feels like he has legs under him. He offers all of that talent on the court, but all the intangibles behind the scenes. You know, an all-star player willing to come off the bench, that sets the tone for everybody else in the locker room. He still is one of our leaders, and you see that in a day like yesterday, where we have to come in and work after a disappointing loss. He was very vocal in the meeting, and he's like E.F. Hutton. You know, when he speaks, everybody listens.
A part of that message from you and probably him, the opportunity here at home, obviously, over these next 5, how well you all played, not taking that for granted.
Yeah, you don't want to take it for granted. That's why I wanted to come in yesterday and work, at least in a film session, and then go through the process today. We don't have an opportunity to make amends on the road, so we have to leave that behind us. We're on to the new challenge right now against an explosive offensive team that they're excited about the new pieces they've added in the trade, and we're going to have to impose our will and let that carry us to where we want to go at home. We can't just assume just because we're home that it's going to happen.
Has Goran kind of always been E.F. Hutton, or has that come when Dwayne was here, could he have that role? When others were here, could he have that role, or has it's sort of evolved. Been bestowed on him now? Yeah,
it's evolved. Obviously, he's been a captain for us, but each year he's gotten more comfortable with the culture here. It's becoming more and more him every year. He believes in it, and when you believe in something, you want other people, to understand it. When you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears behind it. He's just been terrific. I love seeing how much he's grown. Probably he's grown dramatically with us, just in terms of his leadership and his voice and feeling more comfortable with that and influencing more people. I think he's finding great joy in influencing and impacting our young players. He's finding purpose in that, and he's enjoying their success along the way. But I can only imagine what he was like, probably a young player in this league, and English was probably a third language to him. He was quite naturally quiet, and each year he's just gotten a whole lot more comfortable.
Erik, you guys have 7 undrafted players on your roster, which is a really high amount, and they've contributed. So how much of that is scouting? How much of that is coaching? How much of that is good fortune?
Yeah, what we say all the time, it's all the above. And each one of those stories, everything has to work in unison because we believe in it. We believe in that's the lifeblood of our program is player development. You have to have great scouting, which we do. These guys are the best in the business. Chet, Andy, Adam, Erik. You have to have start from the top. This is a culture that's been created years ago under Pat. Even looking at our staff, those guys, Anthony Carter, Malik, and Chris Quinn, came through our program that way, undrafted. Pat was one of those guys. That's why it's important to us. Not as an undrafted guy, but understanding, what it's like to really have to fight and for a position and a job in a different way. And then our coaching staff, we hire guys and develop guys to be able to do that job. And then the most important thing probably is that you have to have the right kind of players that have that persistence and grit. There's not much difference between a lot of these players and players that are overseas or players that are second rounders, players that are this close to being drafted. You have to have something inside of you where you're not going to give up on your dream when it seems hopeless or you have to take a different route. And you're seeing how much we're benefiting from all of that working together. We have some really tough-minded guys on our team right now.
Erik, what stands out to you about what James Johnson, his time here with you guys?
James is he's a great person and personality. He's a fun guy to have around. Those years, we didn't have great playoff runs, but those were some of the more memorable seasons that we've had, particularly the one where we were 11-30 and then turned it around. He was a big catalyst for that team. And in a different way, these guys were drafted, but they were cast-offs. And we all found a great sense of purpose that year of creating something that nobody thought we could do. And I understand we didn't make the playoffs, but it was a fun season. It was one that we'll all remember. And I think Minnesota is seeing what kind of versatility he can bring to the game. They're playing him at the backup 5, and he's in great shape. He's playing simple basketball right now, and he's playing great. Okay, thank you.